Tonight on Cronkite News, a popular abortion drug is under FDA review following concerns from Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
And several wolves born into captivity here in Arizona finally have new homes. Find out where they are living now.
Plus, ASU head coach Kenny Dillingham weighs in on the new college football playoff format.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Jessica Poole.
And I'm Kobe Mitchell. Thank you for joining us.
Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has ordered an FDA review of a controversial drug used for medical abortion. The move has prompted concerns amongst reproductive rights advocates. Cronkite News reporter Ella Anderson has more on how this could impact abortion across our state.
3 weeks ago, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. directed the FDA to take another look at mifepristone, a drug approved almost 25 years ago.
At very least, the label should be changed. I've asked Marty McCary, who's the director of FDA, to do a complete review and to report back.
Arizona requires women to see a doctor in person to get a prescription, one of many restrictions now being challenged in court as violations of the state constitution. Voters passed that abortion rights amendment in November, but if the FDA revokes approval of mifepristone, it won't be easy to exercise that right, as the drug is used in 2/3 of abortions.
I do see this as something that could take away the right to abortion for Arizonans, in spite of the fact that we just told our government we want them outside of these decisions. I think whatever they find is going to be propaganda.
The FDA has expanded access to mifepristone several times since 2016 based on studies showing that fewer than 1 in 200 patients experience serious side effects. Abortion opponents say this complication rate is actually 22 times higher, pointing to a report from a conservative think tank called the Ethics and Public Policy Center. But the study is not peer-reviewed and many OBGYNs are calling it junk science. Kennedy cited this report before directing the FDA to take another look at mifepristone.
So I think it's really telling. The other side has so very quickly come out to categorize this as junk science. I think at a minimum, if you cared about women, regardless of what you think about abortion, at a minimum, you would say, you know what, this is interesting. It needs to be really evaluated by the FDA.
The group say they've studied over 865,000 insurance claims from women who were prescribed mifepristone, but has refused to share the database, which they say they've received confidentially. In Washington, Ella Anderson, Cronkite News.
Women in Arizona still have access to the abortion pill as long as they go to one of the state's 9 available clinics.
Members of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors broke ground on a new tabulation and election center that is expected to triple in current size. The center will provide a space to train and process temporary election workers, as well as expanding observation viewing areas and introducing a media-friendly space for election coverage. The bipartisan board hopes the new center will help comply with recent state law calling for greater transparency.
17 Mexican wolf pups that were born into captivity have been released into the wild. According to the Arizona Game and Fish Department, it's part of a fostering program which is now complete. The pups in captivity were mixed with pups from wild Mexican wolf packs. They were then placed into a wild den and will be cared for by a female wolf over the next few weeks.
Coming back to the valley, the issue of homelessness is a huge concern, especially as the weather heats up. The Maricopa Regional Continuum of Care released its 2025 Point in Time, or PIT report. And some of the findings, they raise some concerns. Based on a count from January 27, 2025, 9,734 people in Maricopa County were experiencing homelessness. Now, 47 of those people were reported to be sheltered, while 53% were reported to be unsheltered. Overall, that's a 3% increase within the year, and with the biggest increase in unsheltered individuals at 28%. Now, breaking down some demographics, 64% of the county's homeless are male, 35% are female, while 1% identifies transgender or non-binary. Now, if you look at the age groups, the largest group experiencing homelessness are adults, age 35 to 44. Now, they make up 23% of the population. 81% of the PIT count is age 25 or higher, but it's worth noting that 12% of the population age 0 to 17 are homeless. So now these numbers come as no surprise to government officials.
This in particular relates to people who are on Social Security, fixed income of any kind, older adults, people with chronic mental health issues or substance use issues, just like kind of the vulnerable populations that we see falling into homelessness regularly. Those folks are not going to get out of homelessness without more resources.
Now, to get a sense of where many of these folks are experiencing homelessness, the Central Valley has more than 3,700 people experiencing it, while the East Valley shows 944 people, and the West Valley was tallied at 499. And with the temperatures rising to the 100s, people who work with unsheltered individuals have an immediate plan.
We have a map that you can access online that shows anybody who's got a heat-related issue or is working with someone with one of those issues, where they can go to get out of the heat.
And to see this map and find other resources to stay out of the heat, you can visit the Maricopa Association of Governments website.
When we come back, we will have our Cronkite Sports Report that features some sibling rivalry. Two sisters in the WNBA face off for the first time in the big leagues. Their story when we return.
Plus, we had a rainy start to the work week. What can we expect this week? Your full forecast is next.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
You meet so many new people who are on different communities, and when you do that, you're able to network not only, but also get to engage, talk to people, and make life friends.
I think that definitely surprised me, the community that I would find, because I wasn't really expecting it.
Freedom.
Friendly. Nice. I'd say cozy.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Lindsay Dean. The Arizona Diamondbacks' Alek Thomas threw the first pitch of the Diamondbacks' Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities Initiative Showcase. Cronkite News reporter Brandon Cadiz has more on the program's efforts to keep underserved youth in the Valley participating in baseball.
From spin the wheel to win prizes, to accuracy throwing games, and meet and greets for fans, the Arizona Diamondbacks went all out to celebrate high school players in the Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities program. At Phoenix's El Oso Park, 25 high school baseball players from across the valley took part in the showcase. D-backs RBI coach James Kuzniak noticed a growing interest in the program.
And, to see 10, 11-year-olds kind of giving them that goal of hey, one day I want to play and make the RBI team. It's really cool.
It's fields like the one behind me here where this event is taking place that Diamondbacks outfielder Alek Thomas partook in his RBI program back in his hometown in Chicago.
Being able to have that experience and, the White Sox, they supported all the things that we did. And then now being a part of an organization where they do the same thing is really cool.
The Diamondbacks Nike RBI program began in 2020 to empower underserved teens.
And they kind of get that taste of a big league life, taking a plane with their teammates, getting on a charter bus.
The team also highlighted Hispanic culture through their City Connect jerseys. Thomas, who represented Mexico in the 2023 World Baseball Classic, takes pride in being a role model for the next generation.
I never had someone that came to my games and supported me in that way. I hope I can give them any type of information to help them go to the next level or just be a better person.
The program not only focuses on skills on the field, but sets them up for success outside of baseball.
They get scholarships afterwards when they go to college, you know, even if they don't play baseball. One guy, he just graduated, he's going to HVAC school in the fall, and he's going to get a scholarship for that too.
From MLB dreams to life post-baseball, the Diamondbacks are giving back to the game. In Phoenix, Brandon Cadiz, Cronkite News.
This year's RBI Showcase also featured guest coaches including former D-backs All-Star Jake Spivey and former D-backs utility player Chris Owings. The WNBA is filled with grit, talent, competition, and now sibling rivalry. The Westbeld sisters have seen each other play throughout their lives, but this time they face each other on the biggest stage.
From long hours in the gym to watching each other succeed, Phoenix Mercury forward Catherine Westbeld and her sister, Chicago Sky forward Maddie Westbeld, are rookies in the WNBA. Their partnership remains, but during the season, they face each other as opponents.
It's literally a dream come true for the both of us, and I'm so proud of her, and you know, she's just a testament of resilience.
Kettering, Ohio natives, the Westbeld sisters share an eagerness to learn the game. When Catherine, who is 6 years older, was playing overseas, she would FaceTime her younger sister, guiding the 16th pick in the 2025 draft as she approached her rookie season.
It's easy when you have, you know, someone like that who's trying to learn. So, you know, she's learned from my mistakes and, you know, from my accomplishments and everything. So I feel like she's well prepared for the league right now.
Catherine said growing up with a big family, they were always competing with one another. She said it was just the way that her and Maddie were built, to always have the drive to be here in the gym.
Our parents never had to ask us, you know, let's go to the gym, let's work out, let's do this. But we were always just there and wanted to go.
Before starting her rookie season with the Mercury, Catherine played for a team in the Hungarian Professional Basketball League. Using her experience, she gave Maddie some advice about playing professionally.
Even in college, I was asking her questions. So she was always giving me advice and, you know, where she was in my shoes, but then also, you know, where I was about to be coming into the league.
Having international basketball experience allowed players to connect through traveling the world, especially in the WNBA. Mercury guard Lexi Held said she realized how small the basketball world is from playing overseas.
It makes it really fun to be able to connect in ways like that when you come into, you know, an environment that can be so daunting, and then you really realize you have a lot of familiarities and similarities, and we're all just here to play basketball.
Catherine said it is important for her younger sister to enjoy this moment because she is only a rookie once. Even though they play for different teams, both sisters appreciate having each other as they navigate the season together. In Phoenix, Eve McFarland, Cronkite News.
Catherine and the Mercury lead the sibling rivalry 1-0, but Maddie will get her chance to get even when they face off again on June 21st. Moving on to football, I had the chance to hear from ASU football coach Kenny Dillingham about the changes coming next season in the college football playoffs. This year, the 4 ranked teams in the final college football playoff poll will earn a first-round bye, not the top conference champions. The shift is designed to reward the most complete teams, not just those with titles. The change comes after critics argued teams like Arizona State didn't deserve a 4 seed after losing to 2 unranked teams throughout the season. ASU coach Kenny Dillingham agrees the system probably needed fixing and says his own team may have even benefited from the old format.
You should get what you earned the right that season. And last season, maybe we didn't earn the right to be the 4th seed. Maybe we earned the right to be the 8th seed. I don't know. We finished 9th, 12th, whatever that was. You know, I believe you earn your way to those seats.
The reigning Big 12 champions are set to play their first game against Northern Arizona on August 30th at 7 p.m. That's it for our Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Lindsay Dean. Back to Jessica and Kobe at the anchor desk.
Thank you, Lindsay. Turning now to the weather, it's been pretty cool across the valley over the last few days, but will the cooler temps stick around?
Brandon Cadiz is back now with more on what we can expect from the Cronkite Weather Center.
Yeah, that's right, folks. We experienced some cooler temperatures in the valley for the past couple of days. We saw some rain on Sunday, well into the late Sunday evening, but now that low pressure system is exiting. So let's take a look at the rest of our weather here for Tuesday evening. 95 to 92 degrees now, but for the rest of the night, steady winds at 10 miles per hour. And once we hit 10 p.m., some cloud coverage there, but it won't affect the rest of your evening. And now for tomorrow, let's take a look at our low temperatures. That's going to be all up north. 3 cities tied in the Grand Canyon, Flagstaff, and Window Rock, each at 43 degrees. Now, the highest part of tomorrow is Lake Havasu City. That's the city taking the highest mark for Wednesday. When we head up north, those 3 cities, Grand Canyon, Flagstaff, and Window Rock, seeing about a 20-degree jump. In Tucson at 95 degrees before Tombstone at 89. And in the heart of State 48, our capital in Phoenix at 97 degrees. Now for tomorrow, that low pressure system will be there up in the northern part of the state before exiting on Thursday over to southern Utah. That's the low pressure system exiting and making it clear for the rest of the week. But we do have one day here on Wednesday with some partial clouds before Thursday and Friday heading into that triple-digit mark. And for the rest of the week, the weekend, and into the mid-next week, all sunny for the rest of the week. I'm Brandon Cadiz here at the Cronkite Weather Center. Back to you all at the desk.
Thank you, Brandon. Coming up after the break, several communities are taking their health into their own hands.
These communities are making a difference through farming, making the switch from processed foods to their own produce for a healthier lifestyle.
Struggling with food insecurity can make life difficult, but several groups here in Phoenix and on the San Carlos Apache Reservation have come up with a solution, and they're doing it by growing their own food.
That's right, Jess. Students from ASU's Sustainability Documentary class, Sydney Lovan, Richard Parker, and Samantha Sanborn, have more on these communities that are helping plant seeds of hope.
When they first started up with this conversation is, oh, we live in a food desert. Okay, I was probably the only one that didn't understand that, because I'm like, yeah, the desert is full of food.
Food insecurity is about basic nutrients and calories, but it's also making sure that you have enough culturally appropriate foods and even nutritionally appropriate foods.
Knowing that we have such abundance within the city of Phoenix, such abundance in our world, yet there are children and seniors going hungry every day is just not acceptable.
It's not just the right of the rich to have fresh vegetables. It is a right of all human beings to be able to exercise self-determination in the type of diet, nutrition, and health that they have through food sovereignty.
In the city of Phoenix, we did subtract 1 food desert. So we started with 43 and now we're down to 42.
Back in the reservation days when it first started out, in order to keep the Apache people on the reservation, they took away their firearms and their bows. They said, you're no longer a hunting society, you're going to be farmers. Well, we weren't good farmers. We didn't know, and we weren't taught right. So ultimately, the crops failed.
There's one grocery store on the whole 1.8 million acre reservation.
We're very, I say, underserved, underprivileged communities where our voice really don't mean anything. That tells you what a country thinks of us as Native American. In the 1960s, where you see all these fields, they sprayed Agent Orange here. They sprayed it so it can kill the trees, the salt cedar.
There's a river here called the San Carlos River. That was our playground. And we heard a big roar of engines. And I wondered what it was. And I looked up, and there was these planes. They were dropping things.
My older cousin would run under those planes like this as it spraying because they thought it was cool.
And it got all over us, I remember that. And when it hit the river, it left a film on the river, and we didn't know what it was.
But that discouraged a lot of people from collecting the wild food or drying out their produce, and they became more like, oh, we need to buy our food because those food are not safe.
The people that lived there permanently had an inordinate amount of cancerous types of diseases, even to this day.
It's an unspoken thing. It's one of the things taboo. You don't talk about it. It's not real.
I know we can't say that's the direct cause, but, you know, we never know.
It did uproot everybody's way of life before Agent Orange was sprayed.
The current American food system is often called the SAD diet. So by addressing our food security, we can create a happier, healthier nation. For a lot of indigenous and traditional cultures, food is medicine. That's not just a metaphor.
I think if we can help just provide like this baseline of like healthy foods, it brings a pathway for other things to open up. Now, can we move on to this other problem of like the bigger picture, like the alcoholism, addiction, abuse, things like that?
I am in my 23rd year this June in sobriety, and I'm happier than I've ever been, mostly by learning our traditional knowledge and who I am as a beautiful Apache woman. Those plants is what heal me, not modern medicine. What helped me is this here.
I also got to see what real healing looks like when you're eating real food, because the mother of the sons that I was really close with, she had rheumatoid arthritis. And then once they started transitioning to this regenerative agriculture thing, she was able to start walking again. And that really woke me up. That made me really believe in healthy food and nutrient-dense food in a way that I'd never really thought of before.
Not everybody is in healthcare to care. There is medicine in the earth, and we can just start choosing to know more about it, educating ourselves about it, or we can continue to turn a blind eye to it.
So this is our garden at NDC. We have about 3 acres of garden space. This year, our plan is to really focus heavily on the traditional crops. That's what the community wants. And then all this food, we try to get into the community through food distributions, get it into more homes and to families, just as much as we can.
Eric's teaching our people how to plant, how to grow, and that's what we need.
I'm seeing it hands-on, this situation here at Spaces of Opportunity. This is a 20-acre farm, and it has probably over hundreds of farmers and growers out here. Every year we till the soil, we grow as much food as we can. We distribute it in various ways. It's so important because we all want life to be here, and in that, we have to create that for each other.
I think it's really important that people can realize that they have that power in them to reconnect.
And it's not just about creating it with programs, but it's also creating it with the motivation of our community to get up. And let's get to remembering what vitality of life really is. It only takes everyone to grow something, and then we empower ourselves.
And what greater reason to put time and effort and energy into something than being able to feed people and to bring hope to others.
That's what all these people do. Yeah, they're growing They're growing consumables and foods and different plant species for the people to eat. But you know what they're growing more? They're planting the seeds of hope.
Coming up after the break, we have a shocking story about a dog's journey at sea.
The pup went out for a swim that took a turn no one expected. Find out how she made it back to dry land after a quick break.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
Welcome back. Now an amazing story about a dog who is home safe and sound after she was missing for more than a month.
And in that time, she went on quite a journey, traveling more than 100 miles from home. Amber the dog ran away from her family's home in April. After a social media campaign to find her, she was seen dozens of miles away off the waters of a small coastal town. She was spotted by a passing boat and she was swimming back to the mainland. She was helped onto the boat and taken to a vet, and she is now safe and sound at home.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Jessica Poole.
And I'm Kobe Mitchell. Thank you for joining us.
And to see top stories across Arizona anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.